Like, you know, like, that joke's too inappropriate to put at the intro. There are two things certain in NCEA. One is that your unfamiliar text poem will not make sense, and the other is you're gonna have to write a lot, and you're gonna have to write good. So here is 10 study time approved tips for how to improve your writing. The first tip is that you need to actually answer the question, because your writing has to make sense, and unfortunately it cannot be a fat yarn. How we do that is we break down the question and identify the key words and what the question is actually asking you, and proving that using how, why, and those buzzwords. So for example, if the question is like, how was the moment significant or whatever, you're actually gonna have to define like what a significant moment is. Is it one that like makes the audience sad, or is it one that like the whole plot revolves around, or does it make you feel things or whatever? And that's going to actually make sure your writing is relevant. As a wise and handsome man once said, As a wise man once said, your writing needs to have a thesis, and this is true for English, bio, classics, or other papers that don't matter. A thesis is the idea that you're going to prove, and how this is relevant for your writing is that everything you say, every point in your paragraph, every sentence, the conclusion, all has to relate back to the thesis. And this is how your writing is coherent and relevant. So this is more of like a essay writing / creative writing tip, but always use a hook. A hook is something that grabs the reader in and makes them go like, this is going to be a fun ride through Susan's essay on how symbolism used in Shawshank Redemption. How we do this is that we relate what we're talking about, our thesis, to the outside world, or social problems, or humanity, or Donald Trump, or whatever. This is also kind of true for conclusions as well. The final sentence should be strong enough that you could imagine dropping the mic Obama style if you were giving a speech. Writing fluently and coherently means your paragraphs needs to be linked. What this means is that every paragraph should have a clear main point. 3 main points, 3 paragraphs. And these should all build on each other to help prove your thesis. And this is what English teachers mean when they say your writing needs to be linked together. If your essay was on why Puss in Boots is objectively the greatest film of all time, point 1 might be because Puss is such a relatable and powerful character. 2 might be building on that, the fact that Puss in Boots responds to these challenges he has, represents how anyone can be a hero in the circumstances. And point 3 would be something else.
You made the cat angry. You do not want to make the cat angry.
I've said it once, I've said it in every video so far, and that's perception. It's your marker's favorite word. If it's English or classics or history or whatever, you need to be explaining the how and why. You can't just give random statements like this is relevant to society. You need to say how it's relevant and why the author wanted to do this. Even for subjects like biology or whatever, where you're writing reports, you still need to be backing up your evidence with how this works and like why this works or why it's important to answer the problem. The marker's second favorite word sign with P is personal voice, and this means having original flair to your writing. What this means is having an original argument that's different and preferably better than Becky sitting next to you, and using varied language features. What are language features? That's the next tip. How do we make language features interesting? The first thing you can do is use a variety of diction or word choice. Don't just start every sentence with this is because or this shows. In fact, don't even use shows. Use words like demonstrates or conveys or portrays or evidences or expresses or articulates, stuff like that. Just do Shift F7 on a Word doc and it'll come up. Also, every sentence should have like different points and should build up on each other. You should not be repeating yourself. Also, use active voice. This is like, instead of saying the ball of the dog, say the dog's ball, unless you're being real formal like the economy of New Zealand. The second thing you need to add a little bit of spice to is syntax or sentence structure. Every sentence should have different lengths, and what this does is it improves the flow and rhythm of your writing. If every sentence is exactly the same size with exactly the same syllables, it's just going to be like a real repetitive, monotonous, boring essay. Also, use conjunctions, and, because, moreover, if. Just stuff that adds onto sentences to give you more information or combine sentences together so it's not so simple. If your writing is formal, so English essays or bio reports or whatever, you need to use formal academic writing. How we do this is no like colloquialism or slang or whatever, and also no personal pronouns, things like I, we. Like the marker doesn't care what you think or believe, they just want you to say it. For creative writing, use a variety of descriptive and emotive language. Really describe things using like cool word choices and go into detail, but also try and make the marker like feel things inside. How you can add descriptive writing to your creative writing is using things like metaphors and similes and personification that makes things a little bit more interesting to read about, rather than just saying, oh, the plant was green. Just say, oh, the plant was as green as, I don't know, something that's real green. What's something green? Use things like different viewpoints or different perspectives from characters that are all different in some way, and so the piece is told with like a variety of like different personalities. Use twists, use extended metaphors and symbolism that like relates your piece to the real world in some way, and so your teacher will go like, wow, like Johnny has some deep thoughts in his head. Sweet, so that is how we write more good. What you can do right now is go onto the NCEA website, people got E or A or even N, and spot where they've used things like interesting word choices or like different rhythm in the sentence, or like their sentences are all very like samey and it's monotonous and boring. And see if you can like identify where they could improve or what they've done sick. So yeah, good luck, have fun. Is the camera up high enough so it's like give me a good angle of like slimming my jaw and stuff like